What are some red flag keywords to search for in terms and conditions and or privacy documents before uploading or sharing on social media? And this is Sean. And this is a very difficult question to answer because each of us has different goals. A good friend of mine, I would say that he is very, very privacy conscious. He's very concerned about how people he partners with are going to use his name, likeness, and material. Some people, they're not that worried about it. And so that makes this question difficult. But I did come up with a list of things that I think that you can do a Control+F for and search for in a document that I think could lead to some interesting conversations and understandings. First, I am a huge fan of careful scrutiny over indemnification clauses. And so you might want to look for the word indemnify or indemnification. Indemnification is when when one party basically is willing to be the shield for another party. And so if someone's lobbing lawsuits or bullets or arrows at someone, then one party's going to take the bullets. And we want to know who's going to indemnify whom. Another word for the same thing might be hold harmless. Oftentimes those are used together, and hold harmless tends to be a little bit more plain English and easy to understand term. So search for that in the same situation. Next, we want to look for perpetual. Perpetual means that you're going to possibly be giving rights to somebody forever and you can't take it back. So that would be a word that you want to just make sure that you understand what you are doing perpetually. Likewise, exclusive. Exclusive or exclusivity is a term that basically means that you're giving somebody a right and you can't give that right to anybody else. So for example, when you hire a contractor to work for you, sometimes they will actually assign to you or give to you permanent rights, but they may not have that ability, but they might then basically give you exclusive rights. And so they can't transfer ownership, but they can say that no one else but you can use it. So that would be one you want to use carefully. You want to look for remedy or remedies in a contract, because that means if you have an argument or dispute, the remedy section of the contract is going to define what you are allowed to do to fix any problems that you have. And oftentimes you'll see exclusive and remedy near each other because sometimes you might only have one remedy. And it might be a refund or something like that, which if you're using a free service is kind of a not very valuable remedy. You want to look for a choice of law or jurisdiction clause. Choice of law basically means this is the law that is going to govern it. And so if you're in the US, you will typically say the choice of law will be the state where one company, probably the one with more power, is either located or headquartered. Jurisdiction means, when you see that word, that means if there is a place where you can bring a lawsuit, it's going to be in that place. So a lot of companies like to use Texas or certain parts of Texas for their jurisdiction because the courts can be quite business friendly in that area. You might also see California because a lot of technology companies are headquartered there. You also might see Ireland because a lot of companies use Ireland as a home base because of Ireland's tax laws. So just look to know that you're agreeing to laws for this country, and if you have a dispute, you're going to have to go there to deal with it. Then last for my list is look for long, ugly paragraphs. I draft contracts. I love drafting contracts. I know that sounds so weird, but it's very fun. And if you want to sneak in something that a person might not like, here's how you do it. You go about halfway down the contract, somewhere far enough that you know a person's probably pretty tired of reading contracts, and then you create this big, ugly blob of a paragraph. And the first sentence or two is going to look really innocuous and really simple and boring. But in the middle of that contract, you're going to put something that a person might not like if they read it, because you're hoping that they're not going to read it. They're going to skim that paragraph looking at the first sentence to see what they need to do. Here's what you do, and here's actually what I do when I see paragraphs like that. You go to ChatGPT, open it up, create a new chat, and say, tell me what this paragraph means. And then you drop that thing in there, and hopefully it'll bullet point and give you a summary. Now, that is not a substitute for getting legal advice. I think you should get legal advice, but a lot of times contracts will use difficult to understand English. If you see something like that, it probably needs extra scrutiny. All right, so Sean, hopefully that was helpful and answered your question. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's a good start.